YouTube, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. We are here for another episode at the Bettors Edge. What a weekend we had in the NFL, guys. We talked about it in the preview shows leading up to the games. It was the best weekend in the NFL up until now. The divisional round of the playoffs never let down. Let's start off, guys, in order of the actual games. Saturday afternoon, we talked about this in the actual preview. Josh Allen with his cape, if you will, against the stout Denver Broncos defense and Bo Nix. There's a ton of talking points in this game. Unfortunately, right now, the Broncos squeeze out of Mile High with the victory in overtime. Everybody wants to talk about the Brandon Cooks play. Guys, I was on the Buffalo Bills. I had a 3-star play on Buffalo. I thought the Bills were going to squeak out a victory when it was all said and done. Unfortunately, people look at this Brandon Cooks play and they're questioning the decision that the refs made. As I mentioned, I was on Buffalo. But guys, you have to understand the rules in this situation. I had lengthy conversations with multiple people thinking that Cooks had possession of the ball. He was down by contact. The play is dead. It's over right then and there. That's not the rule, guys. You have to maintain possession through the ground. If he had already maintained possession and completed the process of the catch, then yes, he would have been down by contact at that point, and the Bills would have retained possession. However, because he didn't complete the process of the actual catch, you can't be down by contact. The question that I ask everybody is, okay, if after all the wrestling is done and the ball is on the floor, what would the ruling have been? Everybody says incomplete pass. Okay, so that tells you that the process of the catch hasn't been completed. And because the ball never touched the floor, it can't be an incomplete pass. It's then awarded, and rightfully so, to the Denver Broncos. Guys, it's an absolute gut punch to the Buffalo Bills. Don't get it twisted. To the franchise, to the fan base. But at the end of the day, and I'm saying this to myself included, when you're going to back the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs, you have to know that this is a franchise that is adept to losing in this style, in this type of fashion. And that's what we had on Sunday afternoon. So unfortunately, it is what it is, and the Denver Broncos advanced to the AFC Championship game with a massive loss, bittersweet victory, if you will, with Bo Nix breaking his ankle, and now they're going to be going into next weekend with Jarrett Stidham as their quarterback. Going into Sunday night, guys, we talked about it on this show. We talked about it on the preview channel. The numbers, and I don't like when I fade the numbers, which I did. The numbers said the Seattle Seahawks were the play. There were too many different trends, too many different statistics that backed the Seahawks in that spot. I'm still gun-shy, or I was still gun-shy. We'll see what happens this coming weekend to back Sam Darnold in that type of spot. But credit to the Seahawks, credit to that defense, credit to Sam Darnold, 41-6 to mop the floor with the San Francisco 49ers in that type of spot. You got to give credit where it's due. And now the Seahawks are moving on to the NFC Championship game. Shout out Rashid Shaheed, starting off the game with a kickoff return for a touchdown, and to get Lumen Field off their seats the way that he did, really from the word go, that's a difficult place to play. That's a difficult place for road teams to win. And when you give Seattle 7 points off the jump like that, it just makes it that much harder to put on a good performance. And really, the San Francisco 49ers never recovered from that point forward. Moving into Sunday, guys, another game. The New England Patriots at home against the Houston Texans. We talked about it on this show. Which quarterback is going to make less mistakes? We knew both quarterbacks were going to make some mistakes. And boy, did they ever. 8, 9 turnovers, whatever it was to end that game between both teams combined. CJ Stroud has been absolutely abysmal this postseason. I thought coming into this postseason, CJ Stroud had taken the next step forward. I saw some more composure from him, better decision making from him, handling pressure a little bit better. That has all gone out the window since this postseason has begun. He was horrific against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was horrific again yesterday against the New England Patriots. 4 interceptions in the first half, tossed in a fumble or 2 on top of that. He was absolutely atrocious yesterday. It seemed like every single pass he made was interceptable by the New England Patriots defense. Give that Houston Texans defense the credit that they deserved. From 5 turnovers, I think they gave up a total of 7 points. And 7 points off of turnovers, that is. And those 7 points were a pick 6. On the other 4 turnovers, that defense didn't surrender even 1 point. So that defense came to play. They sacked Drake May. They took the ball away. They did everything that I thought that defense was going to do. But at the end of the day, they couldn't overcome CJ Stroud. And that's what that game boiled down to. Now in the AFC, we have a little bit of a lackluster matchup because we have the New England Patriots going on the road, facing off against the Denver Broncos. And this Patriots team, this look-ahead line before yesterday's game begun was Patriots minus 3.5 before they kicked off against Houston, because we knew the winner of that game was going to play at Denver, was 3.5. It's now ballooned up to Patriots minus 5.5 going into Mile High on Sunday. What do you guys think about this AFC Championship game? Does Denver stand a chance? Is 5.5 points too small? We haven't seen this kid, Jarrett Stidham, in 2 or 3 years. Is 5.5 points too big? This Denver defense is going to get after Drake May. We know that. They're going to take the ball away. We know that. But can Stidham and that offense do enough to keep it within the number? Let me know in the comments down below. Does Denver have a chance in the AFC Championship game? And then last night, guys, we talked about it in the preview show. We knew that was going to be the best game of the weekend, and it didn't disappoint. LA Rams on the road at the Chicago Bears. What's funny about this game to me is this is probably the most complete game the Chicago Bears played in a very, very long time. Offensively, a little bit lackluster, but defensively, boy, did they turn up. That secondary, Jaquan Brisker, Kyle Gordon, and the rest of that bunch, Nashawn Wright, had outstanding performances, shutting down Matt Stafford in that pass game. A defensive performance that we really haven't seen from this defense all season long. I know they had a great performance the second half of that Packers game, but they really played 4 quarters plus of stout football yesterday. We talked about it on the show. Which team can you trust their offense over the course of 4 quarters to do a better job against the opposition's defense? And at the end of the day, slightly, just barely, that nod goes to the LA Rams. And had Caleb Williams and DJ Moore not been on different pages on that last possession in overtime of the Chicago Bears, the Bears probably squeaked that game out. But somehow, some way, they weren't on the same page. DJ Moore cut off his route. Caleb was anticipating him to cut inside on the right side of that, downfield. And he just didn't make that cut. And they left the ball wide open there for that DB to pick it off. And that cost Chicago their season. But what a play we saw from Caleb Williams on 4th down, backtracking 25-plus yards, fading away, 51 yards in the air to save the Chicago Bears season. A play like I've never seen before. We talked about it on the preview show. He did it again the previous week against the Green Bay Packers on 4th down. You can just never count this kid Caleb Williams out. He's not efficient. He's about a 50% passer week in, week out. But when push comes to shove and you got to put your nuts on the table, Caleb Williams, my goodness me, he turns up each and every single time. Credit to Caleb. Credit to Ben Johnson for turning that franchise around. Credit to the Chicago Bears for probably being, and I say probably very loosely, they are, without a doubt, the most entertaining team in the NFL postseason this year. They're now eliminated. It's probably a little bit of a gut punch for the NFL in the sense of I think the games would be much more entertaining if we were able to watch more Chicago Bears than less. But you got to give credit to the Rams. They found a way to win the game. I didn't love the way Sean McVay called that game yesterday. When they put the ball in the hands of their running backs, they had success. And when they didn't, they did not. It was that simple yesterday for the offense of the LA Rams. Moving into the NFC Championship game, guys, we got the LA Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks have opened as 2.5-point favorites. We just saw this game about a month or so ago, whatever the case was, where the Seahawks edged out a 1-point victory after converting a 2-point play to win the game. These two teams know each other. It's a third meeting. There aren't going to be any surprises. There aren't going to be any schematic things that either team is going to be able to produce in a matter of 1 week that the other team hasn't seen already a handful of times. At the end of the day, which team do we trust more? That's what this game is going to come down to. And that performance that Seattle put together against San Francisco really makes it difficult for most people not to lean in Seattle's way. Let me know down below, guys, who do you guys think is going to win the NFC Championship game? I'll be back later this week, guys, to preview these games in full. And then obviously, I'll be back giving you my picks, analysis, and best bets for next weekend's championship games. Guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon.